Hello, welcome back to the Economics YouTube channel. In the last couple of days, we've been talking about. In the last video, I spoke about the price consumption line or the price consumption curve, and we were able to use that to derive different kind of demand curves and so on and so forth. And in that video, I promised that we'll be discussing the income consumption curve in a subsequent video, which is this one. Alright, so today we'll be talking about the income consumption curve as well as Engel curve, right? So the income consumption curve as well as Engel. So let me just say that the topic is Engel curve. Alright, so what is an Engel curve? What is Engel curve? Now the Engel curve is a curve that shows the relationship between a consumer's or a household's income and demand for a product. So it's just basically the demand curve that you are used to, but plotting income on the horizontal, on the vertical axis, and then plotting quantity of the product on the horizontal axis. Alright, so you have income on the vertical axis and then the quantity of the product on the horizontal axis. So that's just it. So instead of the normal demand curve, where we have price of the product on the vertical axis and the quantity of the product on the horizontal axis. So you just have price being income in this particular regard. So now the Engel curve can actually be derived from the income consumption curve. The income consumption curve is a curve that shows a consumer's utility maximizing combination of two goods. Alright, so the income consumption curve is a curve that shows a consumer's or that connects a consumer's utility maximizing combination of two goods as the income of the consumer changes. Alright, so after the income consumption line of curve is a curve that shows a consumer's utility maximizing combination of two goods with changes in income. So as income is changing, then you are going to be having something different about the income consumption line. So this is kind of analogous to what we did when we were talking about the price consumption line. So that was referring to the different utility maximizing combination of two goods that a consumer consumes or a household consumes with changes in the price or with changes in the price of one of the products. So which is eventually going to lead to changes in relative prices, and that will affect the slope of what do you call it, the budget line. But in this particular case, by now you should already understand that when income changes, you'll be having a shift of the budget line. Alright, so that is, we'll soon plot all of these things because we'll be dealing with graphs as well in this particular video, and then there is no problem, we are good with graphs. Alright, now there's something I should also talk about, which is regarding the slope of the income consumption line as well as the Engel curve. Now, the nature of a commodity as it changes with income, the nature of a commodity as it changes with income influences the slope of the income consumption curve, which are denoted as ICC, right, and the Engel curve. So the nature of the commodity as the commodity changes with changes in income, as a consumer alters his demand for that particular product arising from a change in the income of the consumer, alright, is going to affect the slope of the ICC and so on and so forth. So we are going to be looking at basically we are meant to look at 3 to 4 cases, but if you have an assignment, you should be able to complete one of the cases, one or two of the cases by yourself. Alright, so we have different slopes of the Engel curve. So I just those slopes, but just know that I refer to this different slopes of the Engel curve. It could be upward sloping, it could be vertical, it could be downward sloping or backward bending. Right? It could be upward sloping, it could be backward, it could be downward sloping or kind of backward bending, and it could be vertical. Alright, it could be vertical. So in what case is our Engel curve going to be upward sloping? Alright, that is going to be in the case of normal goods. Now, just like the previous video where I assumed that the other good in question is a normal good as well. So here, when the income of the consumer changes, we are talking about two goods. Alright. So when the income of the consumer changes, because our major emphasis is going to be on how one of the products changes, so we just assume basically that the second good is a normal good. Okay, it's kind of a constant, but not really a constant. I get what I'm trying to say. So let's say case 1. So case 1 is when the good is a normal good, right? So when the good is a normal good, that means as the income of the consumer increases, other things being equal, the taste of the consumer is the same, consumer preference is the same, and the consumer has two goods, they are relative prices, and income that he has devoted to it, alright, it could be just represented as a budget. from the budget function that I also wrote as well in the previous class. So P1 x Pxx plus P y equals M. So with other things being constant, so we have quantity x here and quantity y here. So here we are assuming that everything we want to do is in relation to quantity x, kind of. Alright. So when there's an increase in income of the consumer, so we start from a point like this. This is the initial budget line. So this is the B. This is BB. Alright. So the consumer is consuming this. Consuming, oh no, this should be y, and then this should be x. The consumer is consuming x1 and y1. So with an increase in income and other things being constant, we expect that there's going to be a shift, a parallel shift of the budget line. So this is shifting to B1. There is no change in slope at all. Or of course, by now you should understand why that is so. Alright. So now the consumer is consuming. Because the two goods are normal goods, the consumer is consuming more of both commodities. So more of y will bring us to something like, if I put it here and bring it down, that will mean less of x. So we have to be careful with how we are drawing it. So if I bring this here, for example, okay, this shows that we have more of x and then we have more of y as well. Then the consumer incomes also increases again. And then we have a third situation here where we have another parallel shift. Okay, this is going to be a parallel shift. So this is B2, B2. Okay, so they are all shifting outwards. So how do we indicate an increase in y and an increase in x? So a point like this. Okay, so we bring this down. Alright, this is x3, and then what we have here is y3. So what we can do is just add the difference term because we are talking about the utility maximizing combinations of two goods. Now the first combination is here, so we could add the difference term. It's a small one that I sketched, so you add the one here, and there's another difference term. Just ensure that it's tangential to the project line as the quantities that you highlighted out. Alright, so let me just make them a little bit darker so that you see it. Alright, then we have this. Okay, so this is the first, this is the second point, and then this is the third point. So what I just have to do is to draw a line or a curve that connects all of these points, and this gives us our income consumption curve. Alright, so this is a particular case where it is purpose looking, where the two goods are normal goods. Alright, so here if we were to sketch the normal Engel curve, so we are talking about commodity X and the income of the consumer. Alright, so the consumer started from income. I'm not using, okay, we just use high to denote income. Alright, so we have here. When the income of the consumer was at this point, he consumed x1. When the income of the consumer increased, he consumed x2. Okay, and when the income of the consumer increased the third time, he consumed x3. Alright, so the line that we draw here is the Engel curve. This is the Engel curve. Now there's something that we must note because it's pretty simple. There's something that we must note, which is the fact that when we are looking at normal goods, we can look at normal goods in two ways, in terms of necessities and luxury. Now, when you are talking about necessary goods, the goods that even when you are entirely broke, you must get them. Alright, so for ladies, it would include their pad. They just have to get them no matter what their income level is, unless you want to embarrass yourself, kind of. Right? It could also include, it includes food. No, now I'm not talking about food in general. I'm talking about food in general. So I'm not talking about a specific kind of food item. Because for a lot of people in Nigeria, for example, shawarma may be a luxury. It may be something that you are buying when you feel that you are richer, when you are actually richer. Now, when you are broke and you have to eat, obviously, shawarma is not going to be a part of your budget. So I'm not saying to some people shawarma might be a necessity, all right, but to a lot or to an average Nigerian, when it comes to being real and they are so broke, I don't think shawarma is something they're going to buy. All right, so in that case, shawarma is not a necessary good. So when you're entirely broke, so that's a way to know a necessary good, a necessity, a good that you must have even when you are damn broke, right? So that kind of good includes if you are talking, it includes food in general, right? So because we have to eat food to survive. Now, what type of food are we not talking about? We're looking at staple food. If you're a Nigerian, for example, no matter what happens, you kind of an average Nigerian needs to have rice at home. Okay, I can cook if I have someone that loves to cook, but you must eat rice. That's what I'm trying to say. An average Nigerian eats rice. No matter what happens, you need to have rice. All right. Same goes for beans. Some people don't like beans, but on average, so beans is something that is kind of a necessary good. And what else? How about vegetables? Okay, so if you are damn broke, vegetables is the kind of what you still need to have. So now I can say, okay, that food like rice, food items like rice, beans, vegetables are kind of necessary goods. Alright, they're necessary goods, necessary food items that you must have. Now, but that's not what I'm going to. So I'm just looking at food in general as a necessary good. Food in general. So we have that, okay, being a part of normal goods. When your income rise, you are going to get more of these particular items. Alright, to increase your satisfaction that you get from them. Now, we also have the second category of normal goods, which is luxury. We are looking at luxury products in general. Alright, so luxury products are products that you get, and I was talking about in the last video or so, when I was saying that these are status products. You use them to make a statement. When you have them, people know that you are right, kind of something like that. So these are statement products, they are status symbols, and so on and so forth. So now, luxury goods are also goods that you buy when your income has increased on average. Alright, so you buy more of luxury goods when your income has significantly increased. Okay, whereas you still buy more of necessary goods as well, but there is a difference. There is a difference. The difference being that when you buy for necessary goods, an increase in income, alright, will make you spend less and less of that additional income on this product. When your income increases by let's say 20%, you spend maybe 10% on buying more necessary products. When your income further increases by 20% again, you then spend like let's say 7% or maybe 5% or maybe 3% on necessary products. So that's what essentially happens to food in general. So as your income begins to rise, from that additional income, what you'll be spending on food begins to fall from the additional income. But for luxury, alright, what you are going to be spending on luxury items when your income begins to rise, will start to take will begin to take significant portion of your income. So what I mean is, we take an increasing portion of the increase in your income. So if your income were to rise from, let me say, 300,000 to let's say a million, okay, you will start to think that maybe you can afford a car. Alright, then your income changes, let's say 2 million naira, then you can think, okay, I think this car is not good enough, based on the level I am now, so let me get a better one. You understand? So you keep spending more and more percentage of your increase in income on getting luxury products. So that's the deal. Now, if I take pad for example, women pad for example, as your income begins to rise, so like what fraction of your increase in income would you be spending on additional pads, for example? I think that is even, well, maybe I just leave it that way because it's kind of something that is of the fixed consumption. Okay, but let's not go too deep into it. So let's just leave it that. So the point I'm trying to make here is that if you having the slope of your Engel curve as well as the slope of the income consumption line for necessary goods as well as luxury items, the slopes are not the same. There's something that happens to the slope as income increases. So I'm going to do for necessary goods, and these are necessities, right? Okay, I'll do for those ones, but one of the assignments will be to replicate that for luxury items. So you are going to sketch out the income consumption line of a luxury product or luxury basically, and then from there you're going to derive the Engel curve. You can do a further research on it. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this. This is quantity x, this is quantity y. Alright, so you have this. Okay, you're consuming this and this, x1, y1. Your income increases to this point. So let me say this point. You begin to consume. Okay, this is the first budget line, BB, and you have B1, B1. So because this is necessity, okay, now you'll be consuming, when your income increases, you'll be consuming more of X, right? But there is something that needs to happen. You consume X like this, let's say this here, X2. There's something I wanted to note, this is Y2. Then your income increases again. So you have B2, B2. So now this is what I want you to note. You will now start to consume something like this. Okay. Are you noticing the difference in gap? Okay, and then this is just here. Y3. So you can see, as income, this is not income base. As this is commodity Y, this is commodity X. So as your income is increasing, so I'm going to show an Engel curve. You can see that the gap here from X1 to X2 is bigger than the gap from S2 to X3. So this is the kind of thing that you have for necessities. Okay, so I now bring in the difference curve. Make sure it is tangential to the budget line. So what you'll be having is a curve like this. Okay, and now so this is kind of the thing that you're having. And when we sketch that out, this is quantity X, 0, and then we have the income of the consumer. So when income was here, consumer consumed X1. When income goes to I2, consumer consumed something like this, X2. And when income goes to I3, our consumer consumes something like this, X3. So crossing all these points will give you something like this. Yeah, that's right. So this is your Engel curve. Engel curve for necessities. Alright, that's Engel curve for necessities. So that is how we have something that goes this way. Alright. Now, so I said your first assignment will be for you to replicate this for luxury items. So you are going to sketch out your income consumption line. I'll write it at the end of the class as well as the Engel curve. You then note a difference. There will be a difference in the scope if you draw it properly. So now the next one that we are going to is in what situation can this be downward sloping or backward bending? Now this is when you look at it, this is when you have a product that when the income is increasing, alright, the demand for the product begins to fall. So that's what can make your income consumption line to be downward sloping. When your income is the same thing with this guy. So when your income is rising, alright, so you have the demand for the products falling. And in what case do you have such products? That's inferior product, inferior goods. Now there are two ways you could draw inferior goods because it depends on the textbook that you are reading or the material that is being used or whatever it is that you are exposed to. If you are talking about an inferior good where for the very first increase in income, you demand less for that product. Okay, you'll be having a downward sloping curve, a downward sloping income consumption ICC as well as Engel curve. It's going to be downward sloping. Alright, but if you have a good, if you have an inferior product where the increase in income to an extent at the beginning to an extent makes you consume more of that product, but as the income rises significantly, you begin to consume less of it. Alright, so in that case, we're having a backward bending ICC as well as Engel curve. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. Look at your bus ride, for example, bus rides. So you as a student, for example, let's say car. Okay, you as a student, for example, you gain admission and then you can't really afford taking cabs to classes. Sometimes the classes are far from each other, or maybe you might be staying outside the school, and so you just have to, because of your income level, you just have to like trek some distance and then take a cab to kind of minimize the cost. Now, when there is an increase in your income, for example, when there's an increase in your income to an extent, you trek less and begin to take more cabs. Alright, you trek less and begin to take more cabs. So you understand what I'm trying to say. So as your income is rising, you're kind of consuming, you're taking more cab rides. Alright, but then if your income should not rise significantly, you can just decide to maybe get a cab. Alright, and then you do not bother. And it's kind of unreasonable though that you're getting it. But there are students that have cars. In Nigeria, I took students. A student that is writing, I said in Nigeria because I want to make an example of a particular kind of exam, a post-jam. So I took a student through post-jam, kind of somehow just take her through one or two things, and the student was coming with a car. Alright, and this is a student that is trying to just seeking admission into 100 level. So if I say that you're buying a car, I don't think it's very unreasonable. There are cases like that. Some of your classmates may have cars, you may have a car. Alright, so anything goes. Alright, so now you now your income increases significant, and then you decide to get a car for yourself. So you are no longer taking cabs. So in that particular case, cab ride has turned into an inferior good, because when your income rose significantly, you began to consume less of it. So you may be taking your car to class on more occasions now than otherwise would have been, or so that makes you consume less of car rides, or you begin to take your car to class on every occasion and don't even bother to consume car rides at all again. Alright, so whatever is happening, I'm just trying to say that an increase in income significantly has led to a reduction in the demand for car rides, in taking cab or taxis around on campus or around school premises. So that's what we are trying to say. Okay, so let me draw from the first case where every increase in income makes you consume less of the product. X, Y, so you have 0. So here we have the first, the first curve, budget line rather, where we are consuming. Should I put it this way so it doesn't look it looks kind of, when you have something like this. Okay, so this is the budget line, B, and this guy was consuming something like this. Okay, so you have X1, Y1, and income rules came here, and this individual began to consume less of X, so it will be here, less of X. Okay, so you have X2, kind of a reduction, and then you have consuming more of this product, Y2. So if there is, this is B, this is B1, B1, I just have to like erase this person. So if you have another kind of the same increase in income, it will not be the same anyhow. B2, B2. So it still consumes less of this product, X3, and then consume Y3. So the first budget line, the first indifference curve with tangential at this consumer equilibrium, the second with tangential to the budget line is consumer equilibrium, and this is going to be the third. Alright, so in this case, we having a curve like to go this way. Yeah, we're going to sketch that more, or something like. Okay, something like this. Don't mind. It looks like an S. It's not supposed to be. Okay. So this is this is the income consumption line. So something like this. Okay, so you can see that it's kind of backward bending. So if you have the x here, try to cross the Engel curve, we have I. So when this was I1, commodity X1 was consumed. When it's increased to I2, commodity this was consumed, X2. Then when it's increased to I3, let's consume this, X3. All of this began to fall as this began to rise. Alright, so this happens to be your Engel curve when the case is an inferior group. Okay, these I think we're talking about necessities here. Necessities, talking about inferior group. Now let us get the one for force rights. Let us get the one for force rights. We have something like this. Okay, which is a kind of good that became inferior when the income of the consumer rose significantly. Okay, so at the beginning you have something like this. Okay, when the consumer was consuming this combination x1, y1 is income, and this is a commodity y, then this rose to this. But then here, so the consumer began to consume more of carbohydrates, so which is there's an increase in x, okay, up to this point, and then there's also an increase in commodity y, whatever it is, y1. But then when income rose to this point, okay, income can continue to rise into occasions. When income rose here, okay, you have a reduction. Significant reduction here. So we are not, this is x1, this is x2, but then we have x3 here. So x1 increased here, then x2, it all fell back. We began to consume less of carbohydrates. So here we will not assume that you eliminated it. There are situations where you will not feel like going out with your car. Okay, so the first consumer equilibrium happens here. The second consumer equilibrium happens here, and the third happens here. Alright, so while I'm kind of taking you through the drawing, I could have sketched the opening of the board, then begin to explain it to you. But I want us, okay, to go through the process so it's not going to look like magic. Alright, so go through all of the process together. So here we have Y3. So combining, what do you call it? Combining the points, we have this goes this way, okay, comes this way, and then goes this way. Alright, something like that, transfer. So here you have this is the ICC. So clearly, the ICC in this case is something like this. So this is showing that bend very well. So this is for a commodity where at the beginning to look it was normal. It was a normal, but then as income rose significantly, it became an inferior group. Right. So to sketch out the Engel curve, we give us something like you have S, have this, and then you have income. Okay, so initially, when the income was I1, the consumer consumed this of x1, income rose to I2, the consumer consumed, it's not kind of too small. Okay, let's say something like this. X1, I want the diagram to be clear. When the consumer's income rose, began to consume X2, then the consumer's income rose to the third point, and then it reduces the demand for these products, X3. So this was the starting point.
So you have something like so here it is clear that you have a curve K. Exactly. So this is your Engel curve in this particular scenario. So you have a backward bending Engel curve. So here this section shows that it's a normal road, and this section shows that when income rose significantly, carburized became an inferior group. So I would like you to understand that a good being inferior or normal is relative. So it depends on the consumer in question. Alright, so I've given the first assignment, which is for you to show the income consumption line as well as the Engel curve for a luxury. Right, that's the first assignment. And the second assignment is for you to also show the income consumption curve and the Engel curve for salt. Salt. Alright, so those are the two assignments. So one income consumption curve and Engel curve for luxury, and then income consumption curve and Engel curve for salt. So you are going to be having 4 diagrams. Then you need to explain how you got your diagrams, how you got to sketch your diagrams, your graphs, and so on and so forth. So that's it. That's a wrap for this particular class. Hope you enjoyed it. If there's any question, leave it in the comment section. I will see you next time.